Welcome into the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beav. Come for the rugby, stay for the Aftermatch. And that's where we're going this week first, because there was a bit of an Aftermatch on the weekend. A wee reunion, if we will, of some of the 2011 characters.
Oh, look, it's just a bit of rasp in the voice you can probably
I have noticed that over the last 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh, look,
Very
impromptu.
raspy.
Very impromptu, but yes, me and Conrad had a charity event to go to.
Smith, that is.
Conrad Smith, yes, with the Rugby Foundation, who do great work for amateur players who get severely injured. If you ever get a chance to help them out through their dinners or auction prizes, do so, because, as I say, they do it all for the amateur game, and we're talking about serious injuries which they support, so it's a great cause.
Well, talking about some of these old fellas, there's some social media, there's like this new trend going around, if you will. What was things like back in the 90s? What was rugby like in the 90s? Who are your favourite 90s players that you were watching, Beav?
Andrew Murdens, obviously being a 10, a hero. Jonah Lomu, being a counties boy growing up in the 90s. There was no one bigger. He changed the game forever. I always say it. He's the reason we have the lives we have as far as getting paid, and he changed the shape. Obviously, a work colleague of ours was a bit of a rock star, Jeffrey Wilson. He was as good as it got to, and I don't know, I guess I'm very back heavy at the moment, but I guess a number 8 who will always live as a childhood, and again, he was born very close to Waiuki, so we would claim him as Zinzambrook. So those were, I guess, the 90s for me, as far as when I was starting to really, I guess, be a kid and take notice of what was going on.
Anyway, on we go to the weekend of action, and we're going to start off with our bushbuck moment of the weekend. It was an absolute beauty.
Yes, and
I think it was touched by every single Hurricanes player, B. That try down under Dunedin.
And it was, I guess, if you want to say what do the Hurricanes look like at the moment, you'd just throw them this try that is our bushbuck moment of the week, but for skill level, for athleticism, everything you say about the Hurricanes right now is captured in this try. It's high quality rugby players, it's big names, it's the speed, it's the athleticism, it's the skill sets, finished by a guy who's so hot at the moment in Big Devon Flanders, playing unbelievably, and he has for a good couple of years with the Canes, and him and Yosse and the likes. Geez, they've got some loose forwards, but the bushbuck moment, as you can see, just the skill level, the adventure to start from deep, which, yes, they were under the roof at Dunedin, but I don't think it would have affected them. We've seen them have a willingness that not so many of the teams do, the bravery to have a crack from deep. The channels are there to have a crack in. The wide channel is always there, and the Hurricanes went there, and then just the ability to be in support. If you look at how many Hurricanes in yellow jerseys are in the picture constantly, it just shows, I guess, the excitement that they get when it's go time.
Just a word on Lacko?
Yeah.
Cheapers.
Yeah. I mean,
I know.
We talked about Geordie Barrett getting better, and Lacko is going to be like that for the next 5, 6, 7 years, Kirst. You know, like, as I've always...
Man, he's good.
He's phenomenal, and he reminds us of someone else. And he'll just get better and better. He'll just get better and better.
Okay, another one. Cam Roigard.
Yep.
He's clocked Super Rugby in what, like his 3rd or 4th season?
Yeah.
He just, and I think I text this to you, but he just makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
He makes it look like he's playing against club rugby players or something.
Well,
like it just seems easy to Cam.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason why I guess called it out early that they'll win the title is predominantly that him.
You said if he stays on the field.
If he stays on the field.
That was your caveat.
Yeah, he's just got to be fit. And at the moment, he's showing. You think about the impact he made to the All Blacks last year. When he comes in, they were a different team. They look more assured, which is funny because you mentioned he's a 3-year Super Rugby player, a 4-year Super Rugby player. But such is his level of intelligence, such is his professionalism around detail, he's almost got experience beyond his years. And he wants to win. And I think...
Don't they all?
Don't they all, you ask? And they do. But I think in his head, he knows how to go and do it. It's not about how it looks. He's about going and winning. And as pretty and as beautiful to watch the Hurricanes are when they're fully going, I think he's the reason they can win it, because he'll know that, right, no, it's time to back off now and play winning rugby as opposed to nice on the eye rugby.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Yep.
Sit back.
Go on.
Okay, who is more influential to their team in winning a game of rugby? Cam for the Hurricanes, Will Jordan for the Crusaders, Damian McKenzie for the Chiefs,
Yes.
or Bowden Barrett for the Blues? And I mean, put them in, they win a game, take them out, they don't win. I'm talking that influence.
Well, I know you want a hard answer and you don't want me to sit on the fence. However,
No, you're picking one, Beav.
however, what does history tell us? They literally dictate the results.
Damien definitely does at the Chiefs.
Yep.
This year, Will has.
Will has.
Bowden
Bodie comes
coming back
they
has
beat
got the Blues
Crusaders.
winning.
Yeah. So
And
I mean,
Cam.
but it's the great thing about the four names you mentioned is they are in positions of influence. How Will Jordan does it
From fullback.
from fullback blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But
He's not in the driver's seat like the
No.
9s and 10s.
No, but such as
So him.
he's the phenomenal one
I
out
could
of
have
it.
added Big Jim in there as well, but the Highlanders
Yes.
haven't quite, been
Yeah.
at the same level.
No, but
So
absolutely.
you can't pick one.
Well, because they all have their case.
But who has the most?
No, the question is who could win a title without them being there?
Yeah, well, who could? I don't think the Chiefs could.
No, and I don't think the Hurricanes could.
The Blues could, with maybe a Stephen Pettelfeta at 10.
Maybe the Blues could. Out of those four teams and those four players you're talking about, I don't
Crusaders could win without Will Jordan.
think they could. Have you seen them?
Okay, please,
With
none
or
of you
without?
four get injured. Look, we
No.
don't want the situation to
No.
play out. I was just asking the question.
Are we hypothetical?
Are we hypothetical? And you
Yeah.
couldn't answer me
Couldn't
because you
answer.
said all of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Love them all.
back to the Hurricanes
Yes.
and their attack. You have noticed something
Yeah.
that maybe some of you have noticed at home as well, but they're doing things differently to every other team, and defences are struggling against them. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, a lot of people think once you get to this level, it's all X's and O's and it's all complicated and all the rest of it. First of all, you go back and watch that game, what's the thing that stands out? It's the quality of the pass. Their catch pass, it's the most simple thing. It's the thing you teach your 6-year-olds at the junior boys level. I'm still trying to teach my girls rugby team and they don't quite listen to me, so I don't know it all. But the catch and pass and the speed of which they can do it in, and yes, their backs, you'd expect it to, but their forwards as well. So what does that do? It frees up options to them. If you're a coach and you know you've got a quality of pass and catch that they have at the moment, then you can just throw things at them and they can do it. And the thing that they're doing a little bit differently is in phase play, they throw shapes and pitches at teams that I don't think they see from any other team. So for an example, most teams are running around with 3 guys in a pod. And they usually throw it to the middle guy.
You love a pod, don't you?
And he either carries it or he tips it on to the next forward outside him, and he runs and they clean and they go on their merry way. Well, Chris, what is that? What is that? That is what every team does. So what do you think that happens from Monday to Friday at their training bases? They're defending that. They're doing it themselves. They're playing against each other, doing it, seeing it. They all know how to defend
But
it.
why are they all doing it when the skill set of our rugby players is so much more?
Well, the Hurricanes aren't. So
Why are they the only team not doing this?
Hurricanes are having 3 or 4 in that little pod, and they're not just throwing to the middle guy and then going out the back or going to carry. They throw to the first guy, and he passes to the second guy, and then all of a sudden that second guy passes out the back, and all of a sudden they're catching teams because they just haven't seen that picture before. You saw a wonderful example of them doing something a little bit different through those wonderful backs. You had Proctor at first receiver. He goes to Geordie. Geordie goes out the back to, I think, Ruben Love, and he sets up Fehi for, I think, his second try. And again, it was just a different picture because the obvious thing would have been Proctor go out the back of Geordie, hit Ruben, and then they play off that. But everyone does that. Everyone sees that. They just did it one wider, and all of a sudden, catch the Highlanders, done, try time again. They're just doing things that their skills are allowing, but they're doing it at a level that teams can't seem to stop at the moment. The ability to play so fast is a fact that the opposition don't get a chance to set their defence. You watch the Highlanders. The Highlanders are a resilient team. They're gutsy, hardworking. They're going to try their hearts out. They were just blown off the park by the speed of which the Hurricanes could go when they hit the go button. And when you've got threats,
do you not think any other team have these threats and can play with the speed? Is it just the athletes that they have, 1 to 15?
Well, you look at...
I know, it's pretty impressive.
It is. Like, you look at that team sheet. The only people in that team that aren't getting talked about as All Blacks and that other locks. You know, one's a Japanese player and like guys like Walker Luari have been excellent for a good few years, and Delaney and the likes. But you look at their props.
Yeah.
So athletic.
Yeah.
Amua, so athletic. All of the ability to pass, catch. The loose forwards,
Yeah.
we don't need to say anything more.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've got Roygaard, Ruben Love, threat, Geordie Barrett. Geordie Barrett's performance. They said in commentary, Geordie hasn't run much. I thought it was as good as performance we've seen from Geordie. I thought what he was doing was quite phenomenal. He was so square with his passing that he didn't have to run to attract people because you had to be so fixed. And then with his wonderful hands, he did a couple of things which not many people can do, and they're just small things, but he committed to the run and then passed just before. Like, it's very hard, Kirsten, and it might sound easy. It's very hard to be running full noise, looking like, and probably in his own head, I'm going to carry this one, but then decide to lay one off. I know there was a couple under advantage, but he looked like he was just going to carry, and then he just lays one out the back, and Roygaard or Ruben Love was coming out the back, and they're gone again. And suddenly the defences have sat back, and they're scooting off down the sides. They are pretty to watch at the moment. Okay,
this is a little bit random, and you might shut it down straight away, and it may not make complete sense. But do you think the Hurricanes are playing a 7 style of 15s rugby when you think about the coach that they have? What they're doing on attack right now, their fitness, are they fitter than everyone else? I'm just thinking, like, Clark Laidlaw's clearly had a big influence. We've seen this over the last 3 years. It's just that they haven't quite been able to get through that playoff match that they've needed to. But they've actually been playing like this for 3 years now, this really exciting, entertaining brand of rugby.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you know what I mean,
though? I think there's a level of bravery too that often some of the other teams aren't showing. They see a wide channel open, so they go and use it. And I think they have, in decision makers like Geordie, who is, for me, when you watch them, he's still the main man. Ruben Love has an aspect of let's roll the dice here because he's a fullback by trade. He's got that level of excitement. He wants to play. So if he sees something, he goes and does it. He does a cross kick.
Did you like that kick?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like the great skill that's probably underestimated from that kick alone is you can see a guy out there and you can kick, like you could kick one out to a guy over there, but it's the ability to kick it low and flat and fast to not allow the landers to then know they're caught out of position to then go and rescue the situation. It was so flat and so fast that there was no time to recover. He just got the ball there, and that is not easily done, Kirst. I can assure you. Many hours have been spent practicing that, which I could have never done that, that's for sure.
Okay, well, you shut down my sevens idea. That's fine. Had to ask the question.
Yes.
A sevens player who I remember last year said bolter for the All Blacks.
Yes.
Fehi Whinianganofo. This year 2, he's taken off. And I reckon between him and Tangitau and probably Caleb Clark, 3 hot wingers in New Zealand Super Rugby right now.
Yes.
And 2 of them aren't All Blacks. But he's going overseas. He's joining Newcastle. Would he have been an All Black this year if his form continued and he wasn't going overseas?
Yeah, well, he'd have definitely been in the conversation.
He's one of the best. Right now, he's a finisher. He's scoring every single match. 113 points in fantasy this week, B. That tells you all you need to know.
All you need to know.
All you need to know, seriously.
You got to captain him. I mean...
Triple.
He's hot at the moment. He's on the end of a wonderful line. Would he be in the conversation? 100% he would be. But you've also got to think when you're talking All Blacks, there are guys who might not be in a team that's doing what the Hurricanes are doing at the moment. But you throw them on there too, and they would be doing similar stuff. So you're not going to just throw everyone out, but you would definitely think between him and Tangitau this year, one of them will be included. They'd have to be. And obviously through default, not through default, but him leaving, it's on Tangitau's. The great thing about Tangitau on the weekend, and there wasn't a whole lot to be wrapped about a few of the landers because I thought their skills probably let them down. They started well. They saw opportunities in the wide channels. Talking about the wide channels, they went there. They were starting to open up the Hurricanes a bit, but then their skills just sort of inexcusably just sort of disappeared on them. But Tangitau in that first half hour did something that I don't think we'd seen a whole lot of from him at the moment, is he went working into the middle of the park. That first try that
Yeah.
it was a result of him getting off his
Jacob
wing,
Netkins.
getting in the middle of the park and being a threat there. So more of that, just get him involved. He doesn't just have to get it out on the edges. He's so good, so physically and strong. He just needs to get in the park.
Jonas,
Yes.
where are we going this week for our 3-2-1s Player of the Year?
Well, yeah, interesting one. Obviously, a lot of games over the weekend, but I'm going to go on the ones that I thought the games of significance.
You always do.
Yes, both Friday nights I thought were big, significant games.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I might have said it here. I thought the Landers were a chance. But the Hurricanes went down there.
I think you picked them.
I think I did.
You did pick them.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Beav's tips. Remember what he said last week?
Go on.
I'm hot, people.
Yeah, I've had a cold one. The Hurricanes.
You picked the Drua.
I did pick the Drua. Let me down.
You picked the Chiefs. You picked the Landers. You picked all the fairy tales.
I'm always going to pick the Chiefs. I did pick the Blues and you picked the Waratahs.
That's true. That was the only one. Okay, back to the Jonas.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go the Hurricanes because of how good they were. And I mentioned it, and it might be strange to some people, but Geordie Barrett.
Over Cam Roigard.
Yep. I mean, I had to pick one. I mean, I'm not saying it for any other reason. He was the centre of everything. As I mentioned, some of his touch, some of his passing. He obviously was up for it. It was Tavatava Nawai, and you saw him miss. Tavatava Nawai just rode him out of one tackle, and he missed it. Got off the ground. I mean, because Tavatava Nawai threw the board, you saw him fly 6 meters to try and go smack him again.
That's his jersey.
So no, it was a great battle, but it was a one-way street. Like he was unbelievable. So he gets my 3. 2. I've gone to the Blues performance and given it to AJ.
The double,
and just
the difference in the end, probably.
Yeah, and he just gets the Blues game going. Like he is such a menace in that midfield. Like he's a huge threat in there physically. Like if you get him decent set piece ball, he's going to get you across the advantage line. And then I had to go to the Brumbies. And could have been a couple, but I went Meredith. Thought he's really starting to come into his own, and for a tough position to come in as a young fella, and he's doing really well. So, no, the Brumbies, unbelievably.
Well, let's stick with the Brumbies then. Corey Toole
yes,
for James Slipper, and the dying moments to seal it at the death. What a finish!
Yeah, what a finish. Look, I had to rewatch it on Saturday morning because I decided that the Chiefs had it won with 15 minutes to go and decided
that... They looked like it.
They did look like it.
What happened?
That last 15 minutes, they invited the Brumbies back in, really, for a couple of mistakes, but also poor kicking. The kicks didn't go off the park, and they were just sort of giving the ball back to the Brumbies on about 3 or 4 occasions on halfway, and then they just came flooding back into the game. And then momentum, you've seen it before the games these days. Like, momentum's huge. So when a team gets on a roll, you saw it. Like, the Highlanders had momentum at one stage in that Friday night game before the Chiefs won. And then all of a sudden the Hurricanes got it and the Highlanders never got it back. And that was the case in that last 10 or 15 minutes. Still, I thought the Chiefs this year are about winning one game. They've got to get themselves an ability.
They've got to get themselves there, though.
To win a big game. And they just haven't done it. The final. And something that really, it's sort of gone unnoticed because a lot's been made of Damien McKenzie missing the kick from in front there on the 78th minute, which I guess a big deal's made because he's so cool under pressure and he usually just ices it. I mean, you're allowed to miss the odd one, but they turned down 3 points at the 73-minute mark and they're down by 2. They turned down 3 points then, 15 in from touch. Again, I would say 99% of the time I back a McKenzie to throw that over. They turned that down then. That, for me, was a real strange decision. They went for the line out. And look, would we be saying this if they'd won the game? Maybe not. But you take the chances when they come. And I just, so much obsession about going to the corners. If you get a penalty and you're down by 2, from the 70th minute mark, you're taking 3 every time. I just didn't understand that. And then, yes, they unravelled a bit more and then went hunting game. And that'll be the thing that really annoys them because they were literally hammering away at the Brumbies line.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of a bumble ball and Toole runs 100 metres to seal it. Yes, they were already in front. But you're just watching that, anticipating the Chiefs just getting over. Like they were just working their way over and over, and you expect another penalty to come and what have you, but you got to give it to Brumbies at 24-7 down. Again, Lonergan.
Yeah.
So
Good.
good. Very, very good. I found it interesting that...
But not your Wallabies 9.
No, not for next year, doesn't it? I went
McDermott.
Yeah, look, they've got depth. I've locked it in, have I? Well, I've locked in guys who haven't played a game of rugby, so that's probably it's probably a little bit premature. But I don't know if you know, it's a funny old moment, the TMO. You go upstairs, I've got clear footage of the line being cut by Lonergan's foot. Go back. The referee's asking, where's this footage of the clear? Yeah, no, I think it's a try. And so just some interesting moments from the TMOs over the weekend.
Just on the Chiefs,
Yep.
we'll be accused of being biased
Yes,
if we
of
don't
course we'll.
talk about it and ask the questions, because there's been some scathing comments
Is it?
around the Chiefs of 2026.
Okay.
Have they gone backwards compared to where they were with Clayton McMillan? They had built up all but titles
Yes.
under Clayton, but they were there. Are they the same team? Is it too early? Does it not matter right now? I mean, they're in the 6. Is that all that matters? Does the way they're playing not matter so much until the end of the year?
Well, look.
And I'm not making excuses. I'm just asking.
No. And they've lost 2, and they are only coming 6 at the moment. Look, I'll first of all say I have no idea, because as far as...
But you know what you're watching.
No, I know what I'm watching.
Yeah, I'm not talking about what's happening inside. I'm just asking what you're saying.
I'm going to make my observations on the fact that I'm not in the camp. I have not been. I don't talk to any of them about it.
Good to know things.
Yeah, no, because what I'm going to say.
Thanks for the clarity.
No, because what I'm going to say is do you have to go backwards to go forwards? And by that I'm meaning, have the change. Has Jono come in and said, look, you haven't won the final for 4 years straight.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Do we need to change things about how we're playing to be able to win the final? We've got the players.
Yeah.
You've got All Blacks everywhere. You've got the players. There's no excuses from a roster point of view. So do you have to go backwards? So it's all good and well to play like the Chiefs have for the last 4 years, but if you don't win the final, does it matter? Yeah. And I'm just wondering. That's why I say I have no idea. I don't talk to Damien about it. But I just wonder whether they've gone, right, we're going to change some things about our game, and that's taking some time to embed.
To settle, yeah.
And then with the idea that in May and June and July, or when the final is, when winter hits, they're capable of winning a final, where maybe they haven't been set up to win a final in the last few years.
Yeah.
That's just from absolutely no idea.
Just observation. And that's what I was wanting.
Yeah, that's just a step backwards.
It's interesting.
Step backwards to go forward in a few months' time. I don't know. That's the only thing I can give you, Chiefs fans, and I know there's a lot of you out there, and you're good people.
Yeah.
So let's hope so.
There is a lot. Chiefs matter. Just back on Canberra, James Slipper, we've got to talk about him.
Yes.
203 Super Rugby
Phenomenal.
games. 17 years beef. Overtook the great Wyatt Crockett, who we got to spend some time with last night. Crocky did it in 14 years.
Yes.
Because he played a lot of finals as well. So he was going right through playoffs games. So he was getting an extra 3 matches really a season on everyone.
But in Crocky's defence, and I'm sure Crocky would have started very similar time to me because we are of similar age.
You didn't have All Blacks rest weeks either, did you?
No, but Super 12. I'm sure Crocky would have had a couple of years of Super 12.
2002 did he start?
No, he'd have been 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's Super 12 then.
Yeah.
So, he's of Crusaders, you're probably getting a few more games.
4 titles he's won.
Yeah, it's nice. 202
Super Rugby matches. Anyway, we're getting off track.
Yes.
James Slipper, props. What were props like back in your day? Are they all the same? Crocky's the nicest guy, and to be fair, James Slipper seems like a pretty good guy too.
Yeah, from what you know and you hear and the brief interactions, another really good guy. It's amazing that the 2 highest, and I think the 3rd is Kevin Mealamu, is guys in the front row.
It blows my mind.
And the position that is. I often say I've watched enough scrum trainings and been at enough trainings to see the impact, and I'd be like, my kid's never playing up there. Like, it just doesn't look right that what they put their bodies through, and yet the highest recorded games are 2 props, and then a hooker's behind them whose body goes through exactly the same.
It's unbelievable, eh?
It is phenomenal.
Do you reckon it's because they haven't chosen to go overseas, whereas some in other positions they've gone.
Oh yeah. Oh, there could be an aspect of that. Yeah.
They're very loyal.
Yes. But also the thing about it is, if you're a prop, if you're going to sign overseas, you got to think, if you're a prop signing overseas, you're going to France and England, and we look at a prop here in New Zealand and the taxing nature of what that is on your body. I would say it goes up a few more levels over there because there's probably even more set piece, which puts even more demand on their body. So
some don't want to go.
I would say it'd be quite appealing to play Super Rugby as a prop at times.
Who was the most enjoyable prop, like off field, that you played with?
Oh, Jesus, some characters prop-wise.
Give me a couple.
Jeez, where do you start? Well, at All Black level, you got your Woodies.
Was he a character? Was he?
A great character.
Can we have an example?
Oh, not this for probably podcast level. Enjoyed a good time. But and then you've got at the Chiefs we had one of the great characters of the New Zealand game, probably Ben May. Who very different physique to most props. He was ripped to shreds, but again 6'3" and tall. I mean, Hurricanes coach now, Whopper, one of the great characters of our sort of time in the front row. So no, they're a wonderful breed of people, the props.
So you'd go and sit with them and
and
enjoy your yarn.
Always good to sit down with them. The thing about props is, and I was thinking about their impact on a game is probably, everyone thinks that, they go to scrum and they push and what have you. If, say, for first five, you'd go to a props at the start of the week and you'd have to have an honest conversation with our ones at the Chiefs and you'd say, what's the scrum going to look like this week? You'd have to do this on a Monday or a Tuesday because you're starting to design your moves and plays for that week. And they're like, Beav will get the ball, but I can't guarantee what it'll look like.
So they already know this.
Well, they know who they're coming up against.
Yeah.
Or they might say, we'll be good this week as far as what do you need. And so from our point of view as backs and that, so you might be wanting to go down and have a crack at the opposition 10. Well, if your scrum's telling you, we're going to be right this week, you can get them to just promote their side up, which takes the flanker out of play. And so all of a sudden, that 10 that we're going after because we don't think he's a good tackler, we can go after him more because he's not going to get help from his 7. And that's the sort of stuff that you can work out with your prop. And the other thing, which I love that obviously because less flankers to deal with in my channel meant we could have attack in there more. But the other thing from a defensive point of view, when you're going to a scrum and if there's two sides to attack, the opposition have got two sides to attack, you're wanting your prop to be able to make your life easier. So if you can go to, say, a Crocky and say, Crocky, I need you up, that'll then dictate to the opposition they have to go a side that we can stack another defender, which means it'll be easy to defend. Where if you haven't got a good scrum and you're going to be under the pump defensively, you're sitting there just waiting to be picked off because they can go whichever way they want. They're going to take your loosies out of the equation and suddenly it's a numerical advantage. So the relationship with the props, it's probably... it's funny when you think about that because everyone just thinks, they just go and do that and that. But there is so much like that they do that then leads into what the team is capable of doing.
Best scrum chat I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You had me.
Yeah.
I was drawn in.
Well, don't ask me about the bind and the engages, but I do obviously have huge respect for that position and what they can do for the rest of the game.
So on the honesty chat, do they know who they're coming up against? Do they say, we're going to get dusted this weekend? Or do they not quite go there?
They won't say dusted, but they
it's going to be a tough night.
They're
do they ever say that?
They are very level-headed people. And so they'll say, Beav, we're coming up against the Franks brothers and Crocky and that this week. We'll do what we can for you. You'll have those conversations, and we're like, say no more. We can work with this, So no, it's as I say, it's a thankless job and they're great individuals.
Would that have had to have been the toughest front row you came up against in your time, the Crusaders, or would some of those South African teams have been running some pretty tough 1, 2, 3s?
I remember talking about those conversations you'd have on a Monday and a Tuesday. We'd often have those conversations going to Loftus and the Bulls, and it wasn't just their front row but they also had the rest of the Springbok pack behind them. When you went and played the Sharks, I think they would have had the Duplessis brothers and John Smith. John Smith would sometimes play prop so they could have Bismarck, or they had the Beast there as well. So there's 4 Springboks in their 3, and they can just do it whichever way they want. Bismarck coming off the bench after John Smith's gone 50 or 60 against is a pretty scary thought. Bismarck's essentially, for those who didn't understand, is Marks of today. He was the big athletic wild runner. So, yeah. Look, I didn't ever had to go down and lock it in the scrumming situation against them, but yeah, I mean, they were scary enough.
You heard about it all.
Yeah, they were scary enough from 15 metres away, so...
Okay, we're going to go back to Sydney.
Yeah.
Blues Waratahs. You've already mentioned AJ Lamb, really, really good. Derry, again.
Yeah, like...
Bodie. They're starting to click into gear.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about the Hurricanes and, being absolutely title contenders. Theirs to lose possibly if they all stay fit. The Blues are going to feature. I'm just convinced that the Blues will feature. Yes, as someone who just wants to turn on the TV and watch fantasy rugby, it'd be great to see them throw the ball or around even more than what they're doing. But they are, credit where credit's due, they are set up to win titles.
This is what the Chiefs are going to become.
100%. That's what they've got to be.
The Blues.
I'd like to not
Teams
think.
like the Hurricanes can't win Super Rugby and winter, you're saying, Beav.
Well, it's not
set up for them.
It's not set up for them. That's why I'm a big fan of it being a summer game, our Super Rugby. But when you think about the control that Bodie has brought back.
Huge.
When Bodie's come back, they beat the Crusaders first game up. They beat Moana comfortably. And then they go to Sydney and they've beaten the Waratahs, who some people in this room were convinced we were going to win the title.
Some people were rolling the Brumbies out. And look who they just beat.
Well, just be careful. Just be careful. But it's another good win. And they've got all the ingredients that you're going to need come finals time. They've got a big midfield to get them over the advantage line. They've got their not sort of disciplined game plan. They know what they're going to do, and they've got experience and quality at 10. They've just ticking the boxes, and they're going to be fine up front. You're not going to bully a Blues pack. They've got big boys up there, very well drilled at set piece. So, no, I think they're humming along nicely, Blues fans.
Okay, this is a big call, and I know he will never say it, but I'm going to ask you. Do you think we'll see 2 new finalists this year? Do you think the Crusaders or Chiefs will make this final? Or do you think we will see 2 new finalists in Super Rugby in 2026? He won't say it, so will you?
Will you?
I think potentially we will.
Are the Hurricanes a lock for you for grand final day?
No, they're not a lock because of what I just said. As much as we all love watching them.
Yes.
One of those other 2 could slip in there. And an Aussie team could slip in there as well. I think the Blues are almost a lock to be there on grand final day, to be honest with you.
I'll lock that in. I think we're forgetting a bit about the Crusaders.
Oh, I'm not forgetting. I know what they're capable of, and especially towards the mid to back end of the season. You don't count them out.
Scott Barrett?
You're coming back.
He is coming back.
He had that little knee operation, a wee clean up. He's, relaxing a little bit, but I'm assured that he's going to come back early.
And he'll be back just in time to tick that box of being allowed to play the finals.
And I guess that's the thing when you look at the Crusaders. And look, we haven't even talked about them against Moana. Cricket score.
Yep.
I don't even know if it's worth talking about. But when you put Scott Barrett out there, when you have all their big guns, when you have Cody Taylor, when you have Will Jordan on the park at all times, when you have David Havili
Williams,
when you have all of their players, their All Blacks back, that has to be the most intimidating team in Super Rugby when they are all on that field. Not when one's out suspended, one's out injured. Nah.
And
when they're all on,
strong,
intimidating.
It's amazing. And, I feel sorry for Scott Barrett last couple of years. He's somehow been caught up in, a lot of the negativity around Razor and all the rest of it.
It's like the Sam Cane negativity around Fozzie. He was
caught
up in the same thing.
Don't get fooled. That's still an outstanding rugby player. And you chuck him back into the middle of that Crusaders pack with the names that we've just mentioned. Yeah, I think there'll be people looking over their shoulder and going, yep, we just hope that they don't make, the other teams will be hoping they don't make the 6. They're going to make the 6.
They're going to make the 6.
And then that team can win anywhere. They've proven they can win anywhere, anyhow. And you've got all that grunt up front, and then you've still got the guy that we're saying's so influential at 15.
Yeah.
Not even to mention, as you mentioned,
Everyone else.
your Leicesters and David Havillies in the world. So, they're well set up.
I don't know if the Hurricanes finish top of the table either. Again, more predictions.
Okay.
But you think about who's to come. They've got to play all the New Zealand teams and some twice.
Yes.
Tough back half of the season for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope that they keep the endeavour and they keep having a crack, because it'll be great. I mean, if a team can go through and win it like they can, or they are playing, then you'd like to think other teams going, you can win it like that. You don't have to go narrow and just play conservative. So, no, it's good to watch at the moment.
Clearly, you don't think there'll be 2 new finalists. You think Crusaders will be in there. But I ask you the question. Do you think
Or do I think the Chiefs will be in there?
Well, I think you just answered your question that you definitely think the Crusaders. Chiefs, you're unsure about, but you won't say. Okay. 30 years of Super Rugby, Beav. We're back.
Yes.
30 icons of Super Rugby is what we are naming. I want you to take me to the Crusaders.
Yes.
We're sticking with them. There are so many Crusaders that we could pick here.
Yes.
But
and
the
we will.
most...
We will.
We will.
There's 30 to be filled.
Yeah, we've got about 6 spots filled so far.
Yeah.
The most iconic Crusader.
And I reckon he would be close to the most iconic. And you talked about what was the 90s like. I remember, and this is going to make you fall off your seat, but I remember being a youngster cheering for the Crusaders because they were underdogs and, they were everyone's outside of Auckland's team. But I remember cheering for them on the couch, watching them win at Eden Park, before Eden Park had a revamp, the old Eden Park. And it was Todd Blackadder when you think about iconic Crusaders, he was this almost sort of huge mythical leader of that galaxy of stars that they would then go on to be. I mean, at the time they were still just emerging, but Todd Blackadder, lock or six, just played a lot like probably his son, threw himself around, didn't care about his body, just ripped in. His locking partner, Norm Maxwell, at the time was, a similar sort of attitude. He was young. He was a beanpole sort of physique, but I think Norm or Marshall was telling me he was about 80 or 90 kgs playing lock for the Crusaders next to Todd Blackadder. But for me, the imagery of seeing Todd Blackadder holding the trophy up, when you're thinking about iconic Super Rugby figures and players, he has to be one. And one thing that always stood out to me is when they won it. And, often you look at some speeches or teams and you think, oh, that's a little bit, doesn't feel natural or looks a bit fake. He rattled off every single province in the Crusaders.
Yeah.
In his victory speech he's just played 80 minutes and he's standing on the podium at Eden Park and he just rattles off as if it's like, no, I know exactly who I'm playing for, all my provinces. It would have been easy to forget one. Because there's about 6 or 7 he was rattling off, didn't miss one, and that would always stick with me too. And I was probably 12, 13, 14 when they were doing that, and I just thought that's pretty impressive. And as I say, just an iconic Super Rugby figure, and as iconic as they get in Crusaderland, I'd imagine.
Who else makes it from the Crusaders? Who else are your iconic Crusaders to make this
There's
list?
a few.
There are so many, and we actually, once we get to the sort of 10 mark, we probably need to work out how many are we getting from each franchise.
Yeah, this is true.
Doesn't matter. Do we need to split it up? Does everyone need to be...
And we need to pay some respect to South African influence in Super Rugby too.
Yeah, we do. We've had one, Victor Matfield,
yes.
but we probably need to go back there and have more. You've
Absolutely.
already mentioned a few.
I've got a couple
icons,
in mind. Yep.
Earlier today. But tips, round 7 tips. You think you're smashing me? I don't think so. I'm still...
Look, I had a bad week. Admittedly, I had a bad week.
Oh, we're all allowed to miss one.
Yes.
You had a bad week. Moana Highlanders.
Is this game a lot closer than all of a sudden it was a week ago?
Do you know, I still like what Miracle's doing and what Tupou Tailora are doing.
Yep.
Those two, man. Such good players.
And when you think about
a team that is battling.
Last year when they had Artie as the 3. Look,
That was one of the best loose trios.
I'll say the Landers with not a whole lot of confidence. Yeah, I think, but it's back at Albany, Friday night. Moana, here's your chance.
Yeah, I'm going to go Moana.
Yeah, good.
I'm going to go Moana here. Remember last year's game against the Highlanders?
That's what got the ball rolling.
Yeah, it did. Brumbies, Waratahs.
Brumbies,
easy one. Hurricanes, Reds. Oh,
yeah,
your Reds, your title winners.
can I just clarify? I said that.
From Lautoka, the sloppy conditions in Lautoka to maybe sloppy in Wellington.
I said they would be Australia's best bet.
Yeah, well, look, they've gone over to the hardest place in Super Rugby right now to play and won.
Yes, I'll go the Hurricanes. But it'll be a cracking game. Let's make sure when we turn on our TVs that we don't see yellow seats. We should not be seeing yellow seats for this one.
What about the battles in this? The two loose trio battles, the
halfback.
battles of the halfback and the 9s and 10 battles. So many good matchups here. Midfield.
Like this, like people, if you are living in the Hurricanes area, you should be there. This is blockbuster. This is the first time I reckon for a long time an Aussie team can come to New Zealand and expect to draw the Glory Day crowds, because that is a great Queensland team coming over with, as I said, some real quality Wallabies. That loose forward trio against the Hurricanes loose forward trio. We talk about these boys who are maybe All Blacks.
Yes.
Be a hell of a day to put on a performance because you're going up against the world's best number 8. One of the world's best, and World Rugby actually last year named him too. And one of the world's best 7s. So, whew.
Okay, so we're both going the Hurricanes, or are you going the Reds?
No, go Hurricanes. After all of that, we go the Hurricanes.
Make sure you go and fill one of those yellow seats, Beav.
Oh, God. No, petrol prices. I can't afford to drive down there.
Blues Drua.
Blues.
Yeah, Blues for me. Force Chiefs. They're on tour, but they're not on tour to Sydney.
No.
They're not going Eastern Beaches. They're at Scarborough this weekend.
Scarborough, they'll be at Cottesloe. Might have been at Cottesloe yesterday afternoon if they knew what was good for them.
Well, they definitely wouldn't be staying in Canberra.
No.
For an extra few days.
No, they'd want to get out of Canberra after that. But
or maybe the coaches will leave them there to stew.
I don't know if the coaches would have allowed them to get down to Cottesloe on Sunday Eve after that. So who knows? Hope you're having a good week, boys. Chiefs.
Yeah, same.
But tell you what, they need to.
They do.
They need to.
Maybe we're about to see the best of them.
Oh,
maybe it's all going to come to fruition.
No, we don't need to see the best of them yet.
Not yet. We still don't.
No.
Okay.
Just get through.
Fair
Get through
enough.
the 6.
Just get into the 6. Lucky loser, remember as well. Remember that concept from last year?
Yeah, but they don't get home advantage anymore.
No, that's good.
That's good rule.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
Okay, that is us on the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beav. Thanks for coming. Thanks for staying. Thanks for watching. And thank you for subscribing.